Yeah, so last month of July, I did $7,300.
Not that far away from a 10K month, which is crazy. So this past week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Ray, one of the previous students inside of the First Class Setup program, who has recently gone from making no money online to just hitting his first $7,300 a month in commissions just using appointment setting. Now, I definitely think there's going to be a ton of value to take away from this conversation, mainly because it shows you what happens when things don't always go your way when trying to get into the sales industry, and basically what he did to overcome all of those different obstacles. So that being said, hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys show some love to Ray down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, what's going on, everyone? So we've got my main man Ray here. Ray, we've known each other for a minute now. But dude, go ahead, introduce yourself, let the people know where you're from, what you do, and we'll go ahead and just run it like that.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, everybody? As you can see, my name is Ray. I'm 19 years old, and I've been a part of the program for literally almost a year. Like, we had our call like late August of last year, so it's been about a year. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and yeah, I've just been doing this ever since last August.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a journey, and that's kind of one of the things I want to unpack, like in this video, is kind of showing the people what your journey looked like, just being like super transparent about it. Obviously, you've had a pretty cool transformation as well, with where you're currently at, where you originally started. So it's gonna be cool to kind of just unpack it, pull back the curtain, and show people what it's really like, right, to actually get into this space. So, dude, let's start at the beginning, man. Let's start at the beginning because I don't think you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you like found me on your own. So go ahead, kind of walk to the people like through like where it is you even got connected with me, how we found each other, and yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I actually had a friend who was a part of Sergio's program. For those who don't know, his name is David. David's like one of Sergio's best students, and like we are literally like we live like 10 minutes away from each other. So he
Yeah.
was literally telling me his like journey from day one, and at that time I wasn't really doing anything online. At the moment, I used to do like a little bit of affiliate marketing and like content creation, but nothing really too successful. And he was like, just try appointment setting. Like, I joined Sergio's program, and it's been going up good for me. So I took his word for it. I took a chance on myself, and yeah, that's how I met Sergio, and here I am now.
Yeah, yeah. David's transformation was it's honestly similar to yours. It's actually really funny at the fact that you guys have basically had the same transformation. I got to get an update on him, or you can tell me as well. I don't know if he's made higher or lower in commissions, but like you guys are right on the dot in terms of the amounts that you guys have made. So, um, yeah, I mean, let's kind of walk through the beginning stages. You mentioned you did affiliate marketing, you did like content creation. Where was the motivation behind that? I guess like what was it, the like attractiveness of wanting to make money online, or where did that start?
Yeah, it honestly started off as like a true passion. Like when I was around 13, 12 years old, it started off as simple as like basketball edits. Like once the ball goes through the hoop, you get the B drop and like make those super cool edits. And I was like interested in that because I'm big on basketball.
Mm.
So I try to do that and try to make something out of it. I used to do like fan page accounts, like the best players. Like I don't know if you know who like John Morant is, or basic NBA like famous players, and
Mhm.
I would just do edits to them. And I used to get pretty like big. One of my accounts reached like 70,000 followers, which was
Yeah.
crazy to me. But the only issue for me was I really didn't know how to monetize it and like make it into an income. So that really sucked. And then unfortunately my account got banned, which was pretty tragic in like 2021. After that, I really tried to just go around with affiliate marketing. Back then I was on Instagram. I transitioned to TikTok. Try to just try to do something with like content, like
Mm.
making those like motivational edits. And none of those really like transpired into like a ton of money, anything like really crazy. Like the best month I probably had was maybe 1,500 a month, and that was just like it wasn't even like steady. It was like one day zero, then one day 1,500, and then next month back down to zero.
Right.
So it was really just about finding something consistent and profitable.
Yeah, something predictable, consistent, maybe something that didn't take away like too much of your time, because I know how editing can be. You can definitely be like pretty intense if you get, pretty advanced with that. Cool, man. Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, I've heard of a lot of people definitely having similar issues where they got started with something like, clipping content or editing content and then having the issue of monetizing it. And so you kind of obviously went down a bit of a different direction where David obviously introduced you to appointment setting. What was it that that attracted appointment setting to you? Because I know, obviously from his word it's going to hit different, but when he explained it to you or you got more info about it, like what was it that stood out in general?
Yeah, like For one, the fact that it was a lot more different for me because you see all the time people online saying that they make like a ridiculous amount of money, and it's not really the same as when you have somebody like literally right next to you doing that. So that was definitely one thing that sparked my interest because like one, he's like one of my closest friends, and two, obviously like I didn't just take his word and just go into it blindly. I did my research on it too, and I think appointment setting is just a great skill if like literally for anybody. As soon as you're a beginner, if you're intro, no matter what it is, it's such a valuable skill. You learn so much and you can literally grow from there, right? When you're in the DMs, you know, you're constantly communicating with people. It's a big part of sales, and like it's the main reason how we get deals, right? You're the first person in the door. So that was one thing I was interested in, and obviously the money, you know, the money's great, and the fact that you can scale to that too it's great.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and I'm glad you touched on it, dude, because there's so many different angles. And I say this, like, I feel like I repeat myself on YouTube videos. But the fact of the matter is when you get into appointment setting, you start at, like, step number one, is you start at step number one. So you don't, like, start with anything super complicated, but at the same time, you're learning while you earn, which is by far probably the craziest thing. You compare it to like, I don't know, some people like despise going to school, which I know that's not your opinion. You obviously go to school, but that is a difference maker, right? As you go to school, you don't get paid to go. In this instance, you do, kind of almost, right? So, yeah, I'm really glad you have that takeaway, man. Let me ask you this, like, was it something that sounded or seemed pretty simple for you to just immediately get going as soon as you got the training?
As soon as I started,
Yeah, as soon as like you had the understanding of appointment setting, how confident were you that like, hey, this is going to be something super simple for me to actually execute on? How did you feel there?
yeah, like I think for one, like I'm like good at communicating with people. I know
Yeah.
how to like send what, text what, talk what, like when to have tonality. So I think that was pretty easy. Obviously, it's more different because you're texting people that you don't even know, right? And you're also
Right.
texting as if you're somebody else, which was a little bit of a learning curve, but obviously you get over it. But after like a week or two of learning, I think I was pretty set in stone. Unfortunately, you know, like my journey after that wasn't so up from there, but you know, we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. So that's something that, yeah, I wanted to get you on the call, like for a specific reason, is because like your journey, I don't want to misalign people or mislead people to think that, hey, everybody's journey is going to be like yours. As you know, for example, with David, like, you know, your buddy, like we move with speed, right? And that's just the truth of like what appointment setting is, and just everybody's sales journey is like everybody's just going to be different. So we'll go ahead and kind of like actually dive into that, right? So you had the full understanding, right? Full understanding of it. You decided, you know what? Let's go ahead and, you know, speed line the process, right? Or just shorten the actual learning curve. And that's essentially why you ended up joining, right? Was there any other specific reason, by the way, that like you decided, you know what, I have to get help from this individual, from me specifically? Anything that kind of put you over the ledge there?
Yeah, like obviously I went through your content. I went on YouTube and like had to watch to make sure that like this is the guy like I want to work with. This is the guy that will help me get there. And like your videos are super straightforward, and they weren't like crazy, like complicated to understand, which is great. And yeah, like the main reason why I also got into appointment setting is because like before I did appointment setting, I was working an in-person job, which I also, for those who don't know, I'm also a full-time college student. And then, like, if you guys are in school, you know it's difficult when, you know, you finish school, you finish class, you have to run straight to your in-person job, working all these hours, and you have to study, which is like pretty rough. Versus me, where, you know, as soon as I'm done with my class, I could just, you know, grab my cell phone and just start messaging immediately. I don't
Yeah.
have to hour traveling, hour back home, super tired, which is also great. That was another big thing for me.
Mhm. Yeah, you didn't have to. Well, yeah, you didn't have to leave the classroom if you didn't want to. You could probably just sit in your seat and just basically hammer at it. Cool. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. That's one of the things I definitely want to dive into with you as well. Is like the lifestyle change for sure, right? So we'll go ahead and just dive into like what ended up happening when you first joined. So originally, I think we had partnered you up with one of like the internal connections that I had. Somebody was looking for an appointment setter. This is like basically a good like understanding. It's going to be a good example of making sure that like, hey, here's how important it is to, you know, really vet what opportunity you're getting into. right? Because first opportunity that we ended up getting you into, kind of like walk us through what the offer was, right? The offer, what the marketing channel was, and basically how it went.
Yeah, so after like a week or two in the program, I quickly got into a role. He was basically like a mindset coach, helping out like kids, high schoolers, college athletes, grow their skills in sports. And like, it was pretty cool. I was super optimistic going into it. And full transparency, I only was there for like about a month. I was there for less than a month. It was pretty rough, and like also the business was pretty new. So obviously, it's difficult when, being a new appointment setter myself, also mixed with a new business owner. It wasn't so ideal. I only made like, I don't even think it was I think I made like $550. So it wasn't really that good. And then after a month, we pretty much both parted ways. It was more so him firing me, but I didn't really like want to stay there any longer. I kind of knew it was going to stay around 550. So I was okay with that.
Yeah, and I guess like looking back at it, right, this is where, for example, huge part of the process and why I even wanted to highlight it, because a lot of people on calls like this, like they won't talk about that stuff, but it is important, is because had you been like 90% of the population that's in the online space, I mean, you probably would have gone through that experience and probably would have been like, you know what, 550, this is probably going to be it. Or you have that weird mindset moment where you just kind of like throw in the white towel, right? And you just end up going to the next shiny object where it's like, oh, let me try dropshipping now. Let me try this. And basically just trying to figure out what sticks the fastest way possible. But that's not always what it comes down to, right? Because instead of falling under that mind frame, what we did is we basically flipped it on its head and decided, you know what, like, why don't we look at it as a positive? Like, why don't we look at it as the fact that, hey, you actually got your foot in the door, right? You got some experience inside of an account that's not yours. You messaged some people, you made some money. It's like you're stacking all of this proof of concept in your favor that is basically going to add to your momentum rather than take it away. And so that's the like huge difference maker that I really wanted to highlight and I wanted to talk about because, yeah, man, like truthfully, just everybody will give up. Like seriously, like it's so easy to succeed in this space if you just stay consistent long enough. Like that's literally the name of the game, right? So long story short, obviously that ended up happening. Let's kind of like fast forward a few months later on. Obviously, I think you ended up, hopping into, one team or hopping onto like different interviews. Obviously, there was no shortage of that. It was like opportunity after just making sure like you're really just discovering what's going to be good for you. Now that you have the information or you had the information on what's a good business, what's new, what's not, what to look out for, what was the difference when it came to having those new opportunities to interview for? Like, did you feel way more prepared in terms of asking better questions, knowing what to look out for, what kind of business owner you're even potentially going to partner with? Like, how much easier was that process after that experience?
Yeah, like it was way more easier because for one, I had a chance to know what was an example of I don't want to say bad business, but definitely not at its peak or,
right.
They're still growing. So that was one thing. And, it was pretty rough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like once I got dropped from there, like it wasn't ideal, obviously, like, within my first month getting fired, but it's all about quickly moving on to the next goal, the next journey, which is something that you helped me with. And yeah, like the biggest thing for me is I really just wanted to find something more long term, something where the coaches or the business owner I'm working with, they're not satisfied with one thing. Like if you hit 10K, okay, now let's get a 20 and then 50 and then 70, which is something I felt like in the past roles I was in, there was a lot of comfortability. It was all about, yeah, like we're okay where we're at, like we're just trying to stay the same.
Right.
And that was not something I was looking for because obviously, appointment setters, we get paid mainly commission based. So we want to go like as much as we possibly can until we drop, So that was one thing for sure. And not just that, somebody who likes to take care of their team. That was like another big thing because with that first offer I was in, I didn't really get to feel like a big connection with the guy I was working with. It was more just it was strictly business, which some people like that, some people don't. I personally like it where we can mix a little bit of fun and business too, which is also something that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, definitely a green flag, right? Like looking out for stuff like that when you're interviewing for an opportunity is like culture. Like how big are you on culture? Because it matters. You're right. Like it 100% does. you can't have fun in the process, it's just going to be like demoralizing. The entire thing's going to be miserable. So yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like we said, we have all that info now. We basically can fast forward to today's date. You're on two different offers. It's kind of like go one after the other, right? Like actually break down each of them. So first one, fitness offer. Kind of walk me through that. Like how was it getting started? I know that there was like some changes happening in the business and whatnot, but kind of walk us through like what does the business look like, how much they're doing, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've been on this offer since about March. Actually, about like middle of February. Like March is when I fully started to be on my own.
Right.
And to be honest with you, like it was pretty difficult for me in the beginning, mainly because of school. Like obviously, I'm a full-time college student, so my time isn't as open as it was if, like for example, now in the summer where I'm off. So it was pretty difficult at first, but the biggest thing for me is even though it was pretty hard at first, like those getting past those learning curves, I felt like I was still moving in the right direction. You know, like we were still having training calls pretty frequently. At some point, like 5 days or 6 days a week, which is some people might think that's kind of crazy, but you know, like, it really really works because it brings you good habits. It brings you the habits that they're looking to bring into you. Because if you're a business owner, right, you can't hire an appointment setter and you know just let them do whatever they want. You know, you have to tell them what is it that you're looking for, what is it that the traits that you need. And I guess being in that opportunity with them every single day on the calls, I developed some of their good habits, and it worked. You know, like I was booking more calls, we were closing more deals, we were getting like more prospects, like instant reply, boom, 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 5 minutes, no longer than 5 minutes, and yeah, like all that training like really worked out, and that was the big thing.
Yeah, 100%, man. How much are you guys? I guess last month, how much did you guys do in terms of cash collected?
Um, I'm not entirely sure cash collected. I know in terms of revenue, we get like anywhere from 120 to 150K a month.
Mhm.
In terms of cash collected, it might be like anywhere from 20 to 40K lower than that. So it could be anywhere from 90 to like maybe 120
Cool.
cash
Yeah,
collected.
definitely not bad. I mean, six-figure months in terms of revenue is like it's setting yourself up for success, right? Now, that being said, you also did something that like few are willing to do, right? To go that extra mile, which again, this is probably going to get most appointment setters to the five-figure level, which you're not that far off of. Honestly, that's something we were aiming for. But you doubled up on an offer, and this was actually through, I think, a connection we made like months ago, and then you just ended up making sure you were kind of maintaining that connection and nurturing it, and that's huge, by the way, when it comes to just like networking successfully. Eventually, and it ended up turning around, and you ended up joining that offer as well. That's a business coaching offer, and she's a killer, right? Like not like she needs no introduction. We're not even going to go into that, but walk us through what that opportunity was as well, because I think this is like huge in terms of like amplifying the culture you were actually looking for even more, right?
Yeah. So a little bit of context about what we are just talking about. I had an interview with this person in, I believe it was around November. It was about November, and I got the role, but I chose to go in a different direction instead of working with her. And you know, like I was always thinking, like, what would ever happen if I went the other way? Like I actually accepted her offer, and yeah, like we didn't speak. We actually didn't speak until that like November, and then one day in June, I get a message from her saying, "Hey Ray, what's good? Like, you have a phone number I can use?" And I was like, "This is weird," you know. I was like, "But yeah, sure. Like, why not?" I gave her my phone number, and then like we hopped on a quick call, and she was asking me like, "Oh, like, are you still on a roll?" And I kind of already knew where the direction was going, because like you know, if you're asking an appointment setter like, "Are you still on a roll?" You kind of assume for the best, right? And I'll be honest, I lied to her at first. I was like, "No, no, no, I'm not on a roll. Why do you ask?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking for an appointment setter." And I was thinking about it. Full transparency, if I was in school, I probably would have said no way. But it was like the first week of my summer, and I was like, oh man, like I'm thinking like the highs of like the best month ever. Like, oh man, this is gonna be a crazy month. I was like, hell yeah, like I'm down for the role, and yeah, like right now I'm currently with her, and I'm currently on two roles right now.
Yeah. So I mean, we're pumping it, we're grinding, and it's what it takes. It's what it takes. You know what I mean? That just should go to show, by the way, how well we like ended up developing the actual interviewing skills. Number one, I think naturally you have a knack for this, regardless, when it comes to communication, being yourself, and like showing up as the highest level of yourself. And that just goes to show how powerful it was, because she instantly remembered about you and reached out like manually. You know what I mean? You don't really hear about that happening in the
Yeah.
space. A lot of people like they end up having like kind of big egos and they're not willing to go, the extra mile to find good talent like that. And that's why, dude, I got super stoked when that ended up happening again because I knew that that could have been a good opportunity. I think you also told me when you ended up saying no to her, I think then the next month she ended up doing like 100K or something. And
Yeah,
then you reached
yeah,
out to me and
she
told me
did.
like, dude, what would have happened? Uh, so that's funny, man. That's hilarious. But I mean, we're here now, and I mean it's grind season, bro. Like I think you know that. Walk us through what it is that you made in commissions last month.
Yeah, so last month of July, I did $7,300.
7,300. That's not that far away from a 10K month, which is crazy. Walk me through now the lifestyle change. So this is something that I did want to hop on, or I did want to like really cover in terms of the topic here. Is you obviously used to work a day job, right? You were obviously confined to a space. You had to physically be somewhere. You kind of mentioned like, hey, you had to rush after class. What obviously it's summertime right now, so you're not in classes, but right now, specifically in summertime, when you don't have any other like commitments, what does your day to day look like? Like, is it pretty smooth? How's it looking?
Well, because I'm on two roles, it is a little bit more difficult just to like manage my time. But
Right.
like a typical day would go is I'd wake up around like 7 a.m. You know, just do my morning routine. You know, morning, sometimes take a shower, go on a walk, get some coffee, and then around 8 a.m. I just go straight to the DMs. I'm on one offer from like around 8 to 2 ish. I'm typically on there and just straight grinding. You know, whether it's like also hopping on team training calls or just literally straight up on my desk or on my phone in the DMs on Instagram, just like hammering through DMs. And then after like 2 p.m., I typically stop for one offer. I typically take like a little bit of a break, you know, just like get some clarity, and then I go into my next role in like 2 or 3 hours after that. And you know, like typically around the end of the day, I like to take it more chill. So I'll usually just take my phone with me and like do whatever activities I want to, whether it's, you know, like I go to the gym or hang out with my boys. If it's like a weekend early in the morning, like I'll go to the pool, I go to the beach, which is honestly like one of the best things as well because I'm not losing out on money as well because I can take my phone with me wherever I want. Like if I
Hmm.
need 20 minutes to just like step away from like the fun and just lock in for 20 minutes, and then after that, just you know go back to whatever fun I was doing.
Right, right. And that's the biggest part right there, man, because a lot of people when, for example, they hear the 8 to 2, like they might have the misconception that like, hey, you're glued to your desk. Like that's not true. You choose to maybe do that sometimes. Obviously, you do have to kind of lock in sometimes more than others, but you have the freedom and flexibility to kind of like, hey, take your device somewhere else. Go to, I used to go to like coffee shops and whatnot. And what ends up happening is if you set yourself up like well enough throughout the day, specifically like, hey, if you're on one offer, obviously it's a little bit trickier with you on two, but if you were on one offer, you could set yourself up for the entire day, basically hammer out everything you need to for like 2, 3 hours. And then the rest of the day is basically just like maintenance. Like you're just maintaining conversations, booking in multiple calls from there without having to like, physically like, go crazy in terms of like sending out new outbound messages or reaching out to the request inbox, whatever that might be, right? Um, and that's the biggest thing. That's usually the biggest thing, man, when it comes to, people wondering about like the freedom aspects. It's like you mentioned it. You can go to the beach, you can go and do whatever you want as long as you actually put in the work that is going to set yourself up for that. Does that make sense? So, cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm really glad to hear that. Um, what's some goals, man, that you're looking to hit? Obviously, you're kind of cranking things out for this summer. I'm pretty sure that 10K a month is on the horizon. I don't think that's far at all. But you walk me through like what are some things that like you've really put into your mind in terms of wanting to hit with goals and whatnot.
Yeah, so like the biggest thing is like obviously in the summer, like we were talking about it, we were like, you got to do a 10K, man. You got to do 10K. So that was one thing for sure.
Mm.
I'm still like, it's still August as of right now. So hopefully, like if August really turns out good, I can at least get to what I was before a 7K or maybe even
Mm.
10K, which is great. And then like longer down the line, I've also been thinking about the future, right? Like if I want to diverge out of appointment setting too, and I'm still thinking about that in terms of what I want to do. I'm not certain about it yet. Right now, I'm just content with where I am with setting,
Right.
and the main reason why that is because, like, my story. It took me a pretty long time to get to where I am right now. Like multiple roles, multiple offers, getting laid off, getting fired, and like now I'm like getting um, trying to think of like a funny quote to say or like a good quote to say. Like I'm reaping. I forgot what the name of the quote is. Something like you're reaping your benefits, the rewards of your benefits, something like that.
Something like
Or like
that.
what is it?
Something like that. I'm
Something
not too
like
sure
that,
how you
right?
say it. Yeah.
But I'm just enjoying like the labor, the fruits of my labor. There we go. That's a quote I'm thinking. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just enjoying that, and then once I'm able to like, go a different path, I'm probably gonna do it.
Yeah, that's huge, bro. And again, one of the biggest things around appointment setting is again, it's a stepping stone, right? Like it can make you like a frick ton of money, like not even a question. Obviously, you're proof of it, but it's a stepping stone. And walk me through now that you're at appointment setting, because I could talk about others in the program and like the options that they've had, but truthfully, in your position right now, in comparison to where you first started right now, do you feel like there's just been a mass amounts of doors that have opened in front of you with different alternatives, different ways that you can go about your actual journey, right? Whether it's closing, client success manager, operations, systems, like you name it. But how do you feel now? Like, do you feel like those doors are open in front of you?
Yeah, like I'll be honest, like if there was one thing that I would definitely do, it would probably be closing. Like I've actually closed a couple of times for like other offers, and not really necessarily like how we are on Zoom, but more so like triage calls, just like slowly progressing from there.
No.
And like yeah, like the connections are huge. Like I feel like I've built a good enough impression on multiple people where, you know, if they need something or like if they need a setter, they hit me up. Like I've had multiple times where somebody hits me up and asks like, "Hey, are you interested?" And sometimes I would say yes, sometimes I would say no. Like with the role I'm on right now, that's the perfect example. I left such a good impression on her back in November that when she needed another setter, the first thing she thought of was me. So
No.
that's one thing. But yeah, in terms of like that's the best thing about the online space, right? You could start off with setting, like kind of like the beginning stages of you know sales, online sales, and you could see like if you have a team of closers, of like client success managers, of VAs, let's say for example, you can see what they're doing day to day and see if maybe that interests you more, and maybe you can make the switch like that.
Yeah, there's so many options, man. There's so many options of like roles that people don't even know exist. It's actually kind of funny, right? You end up getting, yeah, like people probably never heard the term CSM, right? Like client success manager. They don't even know what they do. But those guys, like they can make 20, 25, 30 grand a month, right? It
Yeah.
just matters in terms of, where you position yourself and whatnot. Cool, man. Cool. Awesome, man. Let me ask you this. With the support and the help, obviously we've been in touch for, a good minute. You've been in here for a while. What's your opinion on that? Feel free, you can rip me apart if you want, but just in terms of like, how I've been there for you, for example, first offer, when you got dropped off, et cetera, et cetera. Like what's your experience been with that?
Yeah, and like I feel like we haven't really touched on it yet because it wasn't really like the first offer and then boom, like it went up from there. It actually was not the case at all. I don't know if
Right.
you even remember, but it took me maybe four offers before I got to where I am right now. And
Mm.
like that's over a span of about like 6, 7 months maybe. So like after that first role I had with the mindset coach, I was on another offer for like B2B for like a month. And that was even worse. I went down from 550. I went to like 300, which was even more humbling. Like I didn't think that it would be this difficult. And then I got another role, and it was actually even more better. I was making a little bit more money, but then unfortunately, things didn't work out, and I got fired. And that was the third role I was in. And I remember briefly. It was like February. I was finishing school. I kind of got the message that like it wasn't gonna work out, and I just hit you up straight away. And I was like, hey man, like I really don't know what to do. Like this is the third role I've been on. I still haven't really found as much success. Like the best month I had was about 3K, which is great. Obviously, like it was better than when I was before. But obviously, like I'm a pretty ambitious dude. I wanted to just get to that 5K and then so on and so forth. And I
Right.
remember once you texted me that, the first thing you did was have me hop on a call. Literally wherever you literally stopped me where I was at. I was just walking on my campus. I stopped outside and we had like a full conversation.
Mhm.
And you were just there for me straight up. Like you like ensured me that although at that time it felt like the end of the world for me, you kind of made me like reassure me that hey, like this is not the end of the world. This is like more your path, like your journey.
Right.
And you told me like in a few months, once you're doing what you're doing now, you're gonna look back at this as like this was a stepping stone part.
No. I actually remember that. You were like out in the freezing cold, right? It was like you had that big jacket on and everything. I
Yeah, I got the
remember that.
buffer on in the cold.
Yeah, there you go. I remember that. You New Yorkers know about that. I don't know about that. But yeah, I do remember that, man. And that I guess like yeah, the reason that obviously came about was the fact is like the route always repeats itself. It's like when somebody's journey is a little bit longer, it's like oh, just literally just hold on, right? Just wait. Kind of you're going to get to a point where you're going to be able to reap the rewards. And I'm really glad you brought that conversation up because looking back at it now, like you can really appreciate, you know, where I guess my mindset was coming from because I've seen it multiple times, right? So I'm really glad that hit home for you. And yeah, man, I mean, number one, I want to say like congrats, like super proud of you, man. And this is just proof, by the way, like this is similar to that conversation we had like a few months ago, right? It's like we're gonna have this conversation next time, like we end up hopping on a call, we end up talking. It's like it's probably gonna be 15K, 20K, and you just never stop, right? As long as you just maintain the idea of growth, it's like never gonna stop. So yeah, man, super happy you ended up hopping on the call. Is there anything you want to say, by the way, like any specific thing you want to talk about, touch on before we hop off?
Um, any specific thing I want to talk about? I guess like if there's just one thing like anybody I guess like is wants to take out of this is literally just stay on the course. You know, just not give up. Like I think I'm living proof that you know once you really commit and like you don't give up after one shot, two blows or three blows, you can keep going. Because it was pretty humbling for me. Because for one, like I had my boy David killing it versus me like absolutely doing like dog water compared to him, which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But you know, like it kept me pretty hungry to like want to get there. And trust me, once you get to that top, you're gonna feel on top, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be glad that you didn't give up after one blow.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's funny. It can inspire you, but because it's so close to you, it could also, yeah, like humble you and make you feel a certain way. But yeah, don't worry, man. We navigated past it, and yeah, you're here now. So last month, 7,300 in commissions. This coming month, or we're in August right now. Let's actually touch on that. Just August 8th. How much have you made so far?
Well, good question. I don't want to pull up my spreadsheet because I don't know what I'm at right now.
Yeah,
But
if you don't want to if you don't want to go through all that, give me an estimated number, and then it's all good.
yeah, I think right now I'm like around the same track as I was for last month. Probably like maybe around 1,500.
Cool, cool. And yeah, it's August 8th for anybody wondering. So it's just about a weekend. So yeah, definitely on the path. And then again with setting, it's like yeah, some weeks are definitely going to have more sales. Some are going to have a little bit less, as long as that consistency keeps up, man. Cool, Ray. Well, awesome, man. Happy to have you here. Hop on the channel, man. It's been a long time coming, but dude, I'm glad we did it anyways, right? And so yeah, anybody watching this video, you're in a position like Ray, right? Maybe you're in college, working a job you don't want to be working. I mean, you could probably tell like there's nothing specifically special about Ray, right? You're just like me, right? You're just a regular individual, but you're just hungry enough, right? So if somebody's watching and you feel like you're in the exact same position as Ray, feel free to check the link down below. You guys know what to do. Ray, happy to have you here, man, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Sorry, man. Thank you for